it's CraftyRia and welcome to this video. The card that I am recycling today, I'm actually inspired by a card that I received from Linda. She sent me some happy mail. You can check out that video. It's a few videos back. And this is the card that she sent me. She made it out of this background that I sent her as one of the prize packages. And she used a greeting card and she cut this ornament out and hung it in the middle, which is really, really cool. I love, love, love this card. So I was inspired to do something similar for you today. Linda, I hope you don't mind. I kind of stole your idea a little bit. I have that embossing folder, and with the same paper that Linda used, I went ahead and cut it out and embossed it. And I also embossed it on a silver because I didn't know which one I would like better. And this is a larger embossing folder. It's for a 5x7 card. So I happen to have a 5x7 background, and then I have these. And I thought it would be so cute. I found these two cards in my stash of cards. I believe they're both by the same company because they have the same type of number on the back. They both have an ornament hanging on the back. I'm assuming they're by the same company. And anyway, the style of the cards are pretty similar. So I got to playing around with this, and I thought, what if I embossed these images over top of these ornaments? If I matched them up and embossed them, cut them out and stuck them on top of this. So, of course I'm a klutz. I measured up a lot of them, and we'll start with this card. There's this round one which fits perfectly in that ornament, and then the one down here is the same, but there's also one on the back that I can use, so I can get two round ones. And the one I was having the most trouble with was this bell because it's so big, so I decided I think I will line it up inside this big one, inside that big ornament, and I think it would line up pretty good because we can have the red right in this part here, and then the white, and then the little bit of silver at the top. I think it will line up really good in that one. And this round one here, or this oval one, I thought fit on that one really good. And let's see, that leaves us these guys. This tall one I thought would fit on this green one down here. And then we have these two, and I was thinking that one of them, I think this bigger one, would fit over top of that one right there. And this littler one would fit over top of this green one. And then we have this little guy, and he could just go on a scrap of something somewhere when I'm done. I'm thinking he may fit on that one, or even a piece of this one after we cut the bell out. I'll have to see what we have left over since that one's so small. So I thought I would go ahead and do this. So I started out by obviously running these through, and I cut it out. I cut it down to size. And then with both of these cards, they have a lot of that ivory color and a lot of gold. So I'm thinking this here paper would look better with it. It's more of an ivory color, and it is very shimmery. So I'm going to start with that, and I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside. I cut it 1/8 of an inch on two sides shorter, so we have about a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around with the red. I thought the red looked pretty good with some of those colors. So I'm just going to set this part aside. I'll set this aside for now. We're going to use it in just a minute. First, I need to cut apart my cards. And I'm just going to cut the front off because I may end up using that part of the back as well. And I absolutely love this border. So I'm going to try to get as much use out of these as I can. So I'm going to cut this border just so a tiny bit of red is showing there. Just like that. And I will save that for something. I don't know what, but I will save it. And I will try to do the same on the other side. I'm going to cut it as close to the fold as I can. And then I'm going to cut off that border. It's much easier to cut off a really skinny piece of the card while you have the whole card intact than it is once you you know, cut it apart. It's hard to line something like this up in your paper trimmer. So I'm going to set those aside. I may or may not ever use them. And then I'm going to cut the front off of this one as well. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with the backs yet. I may use these to emboss with, or I may use them for the sentiments on the inside. So I'm going to set those aside and I'll use those as I need them. I really like these two sentiments on the front, and I hate to waste those cutting the card apart. I did find this die cut. It was in a set that I have. I think I got this at Wish or AliExpress. And I'm going to go ahead and start off by just die cutting that piece out. I looked through all of my dies. I cannot find anything that is an oval shape like this to cut this out. So I'm going to just cut that out with my scissors and save it and see what I can do with it at some other time. So I have my Big Shot die cutter here. This is by Ellison. I got this at a really good price when Ellison switched the name over to Sizzix. And they were clearancing these out. This is called the Big Shot. I think it's the exact same machine as the Sizzix Big Kick. But it's the Big Shot. And today I have my multi-use platform. It has these tabs to make the platform thicker or thinner as you need them. And I have my two cutting plates. I have my really bad one, and I have one that's not as bad. I always keep the nicer one for the top. So I'm going to go ahead and set my plate in. And I'm going to set my card down and line this up. I have these little pieces of washi tape on here. So when I line something up, I can stick the washi tape on it. And put the top plate on and just run it through. So there I have that little piece that I can save for either this project or some other project. I have this washi tape that I can reuse as well. So then I have that piece cut out, which is not a big deal at all. So what I want to do is find my embossing folder. There we go. I'm going to start with the larger pieces. Well, I'll actually cut around each of these ornaments with my scissors, leaving enough of enough room so when after I emboss them, I can cut them out. Since I'm going to be doing this on here, I don't need the very bottom, so I can cut a piece of that bottom off since I'm going to be using most of that one. So I want to just kind of be careful where I'm going with my cutting. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just roughly cutting them out, trying to keep as much of the shape intact and leaving quite a bit of border around them, as much as I can. So I have that one cut apart, and then I'll do the same thing with this. I'm going to try to cut out this Happy Holidays. Leave that for something else. Okay, so I have those cut out. I'll hold off on cutting the backs apart and we'll see where we end up. So I have all of these pieces. I have this guy. I'm going to go ahead and leave my platform where it needs to be. Got my extra pieces hanging out the side. They're kind of in the way, but I don't have much of a choice right now. Let's move these guys. Let's move this over here, because if I run it through, it's going to knock my camera stand over. Let's run it through on this side. Okay. There we go. I'm all settled. So let's start with this little piece. I know I'm going to want him lined up with this. So I'm going to take a piece. I'm going to get new washi tape. This tape has been on there a long time, and I don't think it's very sticky. So I have this washi tape, and I'm going to go ahead and line it up on here and just put a little piece of washi tape on the back to hold it in place, and that way that won't move around. I'm just going to run this one through right now just to see how it comes out before I run a whole bunch through. And I can reuse that washi tape. So there it is. You can kind of see the design on it. I did go through my stash because I know how hard it is to cut a circle, and I found this 1 1/4 inch punch, and it is the right size. It's the perfect size for this. Of course I dropped it. So what I want to do is just line that up right in the punch as perfectly as I can. And just punch it. So there, I have that. Let's get this out. And then I could just take that and put it on there. I think that looks fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And that, I think this is going to work. My plan is actually going to work. At least for now. So let's go ahead and do some of these bigger ones. I have this. I want to get that lined up on the back as good as I can. We're kind of just where I want it to line up. Take this piece of washi, stick it on the back. I want to move it around first, get it lined up to be exactly where I want it. Stick down that washi tape. And while I have this out, I can put another doohickey over here, get another piece of washi, and I will line this up. I don't want two of these pieces of cards to touch, so I have to be careful where I place them. I'm only going to do a couple of them at a time. There we go. Now I will run it through the machine, and I will probably speed up the video and quit talking while I'm doing this. That way you'll get the idea. You'll get to see what I'm doing and maybe listen to some music. Let's have some fun.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy
Okay, I think I have all of my pieces. I'm going to cut this one out with the stamp. However, with the punch. However, I know I'm not going to get it to line up in here. I don't have enough paper to hold on to. So I'm going to do my favorite little trick. I'm going to go ahead and just use a piece of this, and I'm going to stick this down to it with a little piece of tape. It doesn't matter what you stick it down with. Now I have a handle. And I can hold it and line it up into the punch wherever I need it. Real easy. You see how that works? And punch it out. So you've got your little handle there. Just be careful not to double this paper or tape over the part you're punching, because then it can make it really hard to punch because you're going through two thicknesses. So I have these two, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut these out along the edge. And I think it's easier to see them on the back than it is on the front. You can either use a craft knife or you can use scissors. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut with scissors. Again, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up and play some music, and I'll catch you on the end.
Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. All for the little ones' Christmas joys. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, click, click. Down through the chimney with good Saint Nick. Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys. All for the little ones' Christmas joys. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, ho, ho.
Okay, in case you couldn't tell, I was putting tape on the back of some of them because the embossing folder is very deeply etched, and what I found was happening, it was cutting the cardstock, which made them really easy to cut out, but then I was also afraid that they were going to fall apart. So I wanted to make sure that nothing fell apart. I'm going to put a piece of tape on this one as well and just cut around it real quick. Okay, I'm just going to cut around this tape. It's just regular Scotch tape I put on the back. Okay, there we go. We have all of these pieces cut out and stuck on here, not stuck on here, but laid on here. I was going to raise them up with pop dots, but I think I like them on here flat instead, since they already have dimension, and then they look more like they're attached to these, to the string. Okay, I went ahead and got this Galaxy marker out of my stash. It is just a silver and it looks really pretty. I thought I would just color those pieces on top of the ornaments, because normally in real life they're silver. So I'll speed it up and get to coloring. Okay, there we go. So we have the tops of those colored, just so there's a little bit of color along with the ornament right there. It just adds that little pop to it, a little bit of silver. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these down, and what I think I'm going to use is my art glitter glue so they stick down really good. I'm debating whether I want to use this or tacky glue. Let's try this and see what happens. I'm just going to put some down on the, especially on the raised parts. Not too much. I don't want it to warp. And I think that's going to be really good. But actually, before I do too much more of that, I do want to adhere this down to the backing of the card. I think it's easier to do that before it gets all embellished. So I will go ahead and run some tape on the back of this with my handy dandy tape runner. I'm being sure to run tape down all of those ornaments just in case any of them start to come apart from the deep embossing. A little bit of glue seeped out of the edge there, and I was just getting it off. It will dry clear. There we go, and let me finish putting my puzzle back together. And I think I'll speed it up to so you can watch and have fun. There you have it. I never in a million years would have thought to do this with an embossing folder if it wasn't for Linda sending me that beautiful card. And I'm glad I had two of those cards that had complimentary designs on them, and I think they look really, really cute. I might be able to jazz them up a little bit more, because I have that Jenna Marbles gene where I can never stop. This is not the right one. This is the Clear Star Glitter Pen from Jelly Roll. Love it. It adds just a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to go over some of this silver on these and add some sparkle. I'm also going to go over some of these snowflakes and stars here and just add a little bit of sparkle. Okie dokie. I don't know. I bet you can't really see that on the camera, but it did add a little bit more, just a little bit of glitter practically onto where I put the silver, and then I added a little on the strings and on all of the stars. Well, there you go. I think that came out fantastic. I'm not sure what I'm going to put on the inside. All right, well, I think I'm going to cut this inside out. I'm going to have to cut it where there's no writing because they signed it right up into the design. I think I can leave the top part there, though. And that red on the back is not big enough, but that red is. So I'm going to go ahead and recycle the back of the card as well. Give myself an even edge to work with, and I will adhere it right on there. There we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again, Linda, for this wonderful card, for giving me the idea to dress up my embossing folders, or to use my embossing folders and then dress up the designs. I have a couple ideas, other ideas in store that I have planned for future videos that feature embossing too. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Head on over to my Facebook group, Create with CraftyRia. The link is down below. And you can share your beautiful artwork there with me as well. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. And again, I appreciate all of you. Now go get crafting. Bye-bye.